I got involved in some type, apparently drug smoking, and then later on I was in the United States, and we got involved in with selling guns and things of that nature.
Ray has talked about Raul for 24 years. Ray says they were in Memphis together, but neither the police nor the FBI has ever looked for him. Who was this mysterious Raul?
Yeah, he was about 5'8", I'd say, 140 or 45 pounds, and he had a slight Spanish accent, because I know a Spanish accent because I've been to Mexico several times. And he had dark hair and a very slight reddish tint to it, kind of wavy hair.
Ray never told Raul his real name, something that would become very important later.
He knew me as Eric Galt. That's the name I gave him.
Ray says Raul told him to buy a gun, and he did on March 29, 1968, in Birmingham, Alabama. He bought a Winchester .243, but Raul didn't like that gun.
After I purchased the rifle, he said it was the wrong type of rifle. He wanted another type. So I had a brochure, so I showed him the brochure, and he picked out the one he wanted. After I got the one he wanted, he said he was going to New Orleans and asked me to go to Memphis, where we'd be showing the rifles and some other things to gun dealers. So then I drove on to Memphis, and he went to New Orleans. Then he met me in Memphis on April 3rd at a motel called the New Rebel.
Ray says he brought the new gun, a Remington 760, to the hotel, where Raul joined him at 9 that night.
On April 4th, I got out. I left the motel, this New Rebel motel, about 11 o'clock.
James Earl Ray had a used car, a Mustang that was pale yellow, almost white. He says he used it to smuggle in Mexico. He had driven cross-country from Los Angeles, and on the way to Memphis, got a flat tire. On April 4th, 1968, Ray was supposed to join Raul at 3 in the afternoon. They were to meet at Jim's Grill in a black neighborhood in Memphis. But Ray had trouble finding the restaurant at 418 Main Street. He had never been to Memphis before. Ray eventually met up with Raul, and he was told to rent a room in the boarding house above the restaurant.
Apparently, he done checked the place out. So I went up there and I rented a room from the woman that ran the place. She showed me two places. One of them was what you call a light housekeeping room where they cook at, and one was a sleeping room. So I told her I just wanted a sleeping room because I didn't intend to stay there too long. And, see, before I went downstairs, Raul came to the room. And he suggested that, I bring my, my clothing and things up there. So we discussed things and not too much depth. And he wanted me to purchase binoculars with a night sight on them. I don't know what you call them. So he gave me directions to go to a sporting goods store and get these night vision binoculars. So I did purchase a set of binoculars, and I came back and threw them on the bed.
Why did Raul want night vision binoculars? It was 5 in the afternoon. Reverend King was resting in his hotel room. The neighborhood was quiet. Down the road from the Lorraine Motel, Main Street intersects Butler. There's a firehouse there, and on April 4th, 1968, like every other day, all the firemen who were scheduled to work were at their posts. All that is except one, the only black who was supposed to work that day.
I was due to work a regular assignment there at that engine house, which is right in front of Lorraine's Motel, on the 4th of April. And on the 3rd, if you remember, that's the night when Dr. King made his last speech, and I attended that meeting to hear his speech. And when I arrived home after the meeting, there was a message for me to call in, to call my regular lieutenant. And I did. When I called him, he informed me that I was not to report to my regular duty the next day, but I was to go to engine house number 31, which is out in Fraser, other end of town.
Why was Newsom transferred from engine house number 2 that day? From the back, the building has an unobstructed and private view of the Lorraine Motel.
And at that particular time, they had all those back windows covered with paper, and they had peepholes.
Were policemen in charge of the security of Martin Luther King using the fire station?
Yes,
For what?
observation.
Were they white or black policemen?
There was a mixture, but the black person who was in charge was also taken out.
That policeman was Ed Reddit.